Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said.
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like he says something fabulous and he goes, but me and you, we ain't party. Like we need to party. What is he talking about? Incident going on.
He paid strangers to watch. With that one line, Cassie detonated a secret Diddy spent years, millions trying to bury. Suddenly the mogul who turned hip-hop into big business sits accused of running a darker empire, while 50 Cent pumps the flames online chanting "Number Team Cassie." Is this just twisted consensual play, or the blueprint of a criminal machine built on money, leverage, and silence? Stick around because the ledgers, the tapes, and Diddy's own reactions might rewrite music industry history before the jury even reaches a verdict.
She's doing well. She's had a restful night. She's ready for cross-examination, and we're very confident that she's going to do perfectly. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Cassie opened with a stunner. Diddy didn't just host wild parties, he funded them, wiring thousands to male escorts so he could stand back and watch her sleep with strangers. She told jurors the cash flowed through assistants who booked suites, arranged drivers, and handed over envelopes, all at Diddy's direction. The goal, she said, was complete control. He picked the men, set the rules, and filmed everything.
She said that Sean Combs directed everything from what she had on, to the lighting in the room, to how she was supposed to interact with the person that she was having sex with.
Diddy held Cassie's life in a vice grip, dictating every detail: the color of her nails, white French style, the cut of her hair, even the way she spoke to others, especially in the bedroom. The freakoffs, those sordid gatherings she was forced to endure, weren't her choice. They were Diddy's twisted pleasure, watching her with other men. Not because she desired it, but because she was too young, too naive, desperate to please the powerful man who could...
Escort Daniel Phillip backed her up, testifying he quit after things got too dark. Prosecutors flashed ledger screenshots that matched the dates Cassie described, turning a salacious allegation into a paper trail problem for the defense. If the jury buys those payments as proof of coercion, every recorded freak-off becomes potential RICO evidence, especially when combined with what Cassie says Diddy did with those recordings. And that part of the story is even more explosive.
Working for Diddy for 6 years trained me to have to be perfect.
Working for Diddy?
Absolutely.
I love Diddy. You know, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good guy.
Is
he a good guy?
I don't want to answer that question.
Oh, wow. I think he's a good guy. I'm going to stick up for him.
Cassie testified that each freak-off ended the same way. Diddy collected the footage and stored it in what she called his blackmail vault. According to her, he'd bragged that the videos were insurance against any betrayal, proof he could leak if she ever spoke out or tried to leave. She told the court he even labeled the files with chilling precision: date, hotel, and the amount he paid the escort. In her words, he kept those tapes like trophies, and I knew one slip could ruin my life. Prosecutors say this private archive turns kink into conspiracy. They argue it shows premeditated leverage, key for the racketeering charge, and it isn't just Cassie's word. One seized hard drive reportedly holds folders titled Freak-Off Master Cuts, matching locations on Diddy's travelogues.
Vanity Fair, I live an extravagant life, and I make no apologies for it. I'm free as a motherfucker.
The defense insists the clips were consensual adult content, but if jurors see them as weapons, Diddy's entire defense cracks. Yet power wasn't only digital. Cassie says it got violently physical.
Lawsuits, but to hear her on the stand actually giving those details, reliving those moments herself. Also, you have to remember, she's very pregnant right now. So I'm gonna be curious to see how long she makes it on the stand, how she's emotionally able to weather all of these questions. And what's gonna be interesting to watch is, you know, the defense from the very start in their opening statement said that she chose to be there. So I'm going to be curious to see how she responds to questions about
The jury then heard about what Cassie called Diddy's next-level humiliation. She recounted being forced to kneel while he urinated on her, something she said happened often enough to feel routine. When she tried to pull away, he allegedly wrapped a hand around her throat until she went limp. In her testimony, she said, "He always wanted proof that I'd do anything he asked." Each incident was followed by gifts or apologies, but the pattern, prosecutors argued, was clear: degrade, dominate, reward. That control soon spilled beyond the bedroom. Cassie described an LA hotel night where Diddy's jealousy exploded into a beating so severe she shook uncontrollably afterward. She also told jurors he once hurled a champagne bottle at her head during a studio argument, missing by inches and shattering a console. These stories move the case from risque fetish to alleged violent coercion, eroding the defense's consensual kink narrative. And the violence wasn't the only shock. Celebrities began surfacing in the testimony, dragging the spotlight wider.
Cassie got choked up and she said, "I did, but only because I got to spend one-on-one time with Combs, and I really did love him."
And that is speaking to the psychological abuse.
Cassie's testimony didn't stay confined to private rooms. It spilled into the VIP circle. She recalled a moment when she briefly dated rapper Kid Cudi, claiming Diddy changed everything the night he found out, shutting down studio sessions and threatening to erase future collabs. Prosecutors say that jealousy shows how far Diddy would reach, even into another star's career, to keep control. Jurors also heard name drops of A-list guests Usher, Mary J. Blige, and Beyonce, who allegedly attended the infamous all-white Hamptons parties now under federal scrutiny. None are accused of wrongdoing, but their presence underscores how public the private power play may have been.
I haven't had issues with Puffy. I don't like him like that. Like, I don't like things that he would do and make me uncomfortable.
So we're speaking on Diddy, we're speaking on Puff.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't have that thing where we ain't had no thing. I wasn't sending nothing at him, big. If it was on the street side like that, we would be actively doing things to each other.
Right.
And we wasn't doing that. Right? So it gets to, with Jay, definitely not that. That's definitely not. It's just being competitive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I look at it, I go, whoa. So I always go into, what would I do in a situation like this? Like when that type of thing happens. Like, and I'm going, I don't know. I hope things are all right for him internally.
Speaking on?
I mean, at the crib. Because in the statement they mentioned his
you're talking Jay?
His daughter
Gotcha.
would, being old enough to, because she about 13.
Right.
So it's the same age as.
Outside the courthouse, the celebrity buzz got louder when 50 Cent jumped in online, posting Ledger screenshots with the hashtag #NonTeamCassie and captioning, "I tried to warn y'all." His posts rocketed across social feeds, reframing Cassie's claims as credible while mocking Diddy's defense. For prosecutors, that digital megaphone amplifies public pressure and hints at more high-profile witnesses ready to talk. For Diddy, it's a reminder that the industry he once commanded is watching, and some rivals are cheering the collapse. Those cheers grew louder when people saw how Diddy reacted inside the courtroom. Reporters said Diddy swaggered into day 3 like a mogul who still owned the room. Navy suit, cufflinks gleaming, even a casual nod to the gallery. That confidence evaporated the moment prosecutors projected the money ledgers beside Cassie's bruised arm photos. He gripped his pen so hard it snapped, then scribbled notes with a trembling hand. When Cassie repeated the line, "He paid strangers to watch," jurors saw Diddy's jaw clench, eyes drop, and shoulders cave. A low gasp rippled through the gallery. The judge halted proceedings for an unscheduled recess, giving everyone, especially the visibly shaken defendant, a chance to breathe. Back on the record, the atmosphere felt different. Diddy slouched, face ashen, arms folded tight, while his lawyers sparred over the blackmail tape claims. The swagger was gone. In its place stood a man suddenly human, cornered, and aware that every grim detail was landing in real time. Observers tweeted that even the court sketch artist captured the shift. Diddy drawn smaller, Cassie drawn taller. By day's end, the jury had watched his transformation from unflappable mogul to rattled defendant, a visual arc no cross-examination could erase. And outside the courthouse, the corporate world began bracing for the verdict that might follow. Brands hit pause, Diageo dissolved its Ciroc venture, fashion retailers yanked Sean John collabs, and Revolt TV's board issued a statement distancing daily operations from its founder. Streaming platforms quietly throttled Diddy playlists, while marketing agencies warned clients to pause public alignment until verdict. Upcoming witnesses include a former driver who tracked cash payouts, an accountant who handled wire transfers, and an ex-bodyguard already granted partial immunity. If just one backs the enterprise theory, sentencing guidelines soar. Trafficking counts plus RICO could stack into decades. Analysts say a mid-trial plea of 15 to 18 years might still be on the table, but every new witness narrows that window. And a superseding indictment adding money laundering remains a live threat if fresh shell company evidence lands.